Hey everybody, welcome to the Full Circle Network. I'm editor-in-chief of FullCircleCinema.com, Jackson Hayes, and we're here to review episode 4 of Swamp Thing titled Darkness on the Edge of Town. Today I'm joined by my managing editor, Marcos Melendez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Very excited. I've been here in the last episode, but I'm here now. It's just the two of us. And yeah, it's a good episode this week.
Right, so make sure this is a spoiler review because, again, if you didn't watch last week, the embargo is up on the episode following the release. So we are here talking spoilers because this will be released after the episode is aired. So make sure you go watch that, then come back here and we'll talk spoilers with you, and hopefully you can enjoy the discussion. Make sure to leave a comment if you have a thought, or leave a like if you enjoy the episode. So Marcos, let's get your initial thoughts around this episode.
Okay, so the last episode, although I wasn't on, and I can tell you my thoughts. The last one was all right. It wasn't that good, to be honest.
It was bad. It
was kind of bad. Way
too much Avery Sunderland. Too much Avery.
Okay, but on this episode, it's still a little bit too much of Avery, but it's way better.
This episode opens on Avery.
Yeah, it's opens on Avery. I don't know why. I don't understand. It's his origin story.
It was a weird opening. It was a weird opening. I immediately when it started. All right, I'm just gonna cut you off because we had to talk about this. Immediately when it started, I was like, what are we in for? Because this man, I'm going to nitpick this episode a little bit too much, but hear me out because I don't like Avery so much. So he takes the body of the lone guy from last week that he murdered brutally at the end.
For no reason.
With a golf club. He takes his body, puts him in a ditch, and I'm like, okay, man, he's going to leave this guy for dead. Then he burns the body in the bag. In the ditch.
This is how you join the bayou, okay, Jackson? You don't understand.
All right, so then the scene cuts in between a flashback of his dad wanting him to stab a gator, but he won't stab the gator because, he's a child and he's afraid, and his dad's like forcing him to try to stab it. It was a whole weird,
but
Louisiana backstory.
Flash forwards in the present, like now he's a piece of shit. It's like nice.
And is he smoking cigarellos? Those aren't cigars. They're like cigarellos. That's how. So I guess this guy is poor. Because remember last week they were like, he has no money. There's a loan shark out. He's his wife's gonna cut him off. So he's gone so cheap. He doesn't have cigars.
But then he holds like a whole huge dinner later on. So
yeah, he throws a crawdaddy dinner for the whole town.
Bro, look good.
What's going on here, man? What is going on? This was a great episode. This was much better than
Let's
last week.
The episode,
the episode was great. But if you have listened to any of these episodes, you know how I feel about Avery Sunderland. This guy is just popping up everywhere.
So past Avery, right? We get into the episode, get into the story, which is like another little contained thing that comes out of the swamp.
mini villain coming out of the swamp. Part of as Jacob gave us the rundown last week, part of the rot, which is the black part of the evil part of the swamp. The darkness that Swamp Thing alluded to. So yeah, we get a little bug creature, I guess, that was taking over people's minds and making them see their fears.
Yeah, it was great. It was very horror-like. This is a very horror episode, so if you're squeamish, be careful.
There's one part, if you're squeamish, where that dude puts his hand in the garbage disposal that I was like, my god.
That scene's great, though.
It was a great scene, just, shock value. It's like, holy crap.
And I will say, the rest of the episode is horror. As I said, it's better than last week's. As we get a main thing why I like this episode so much, we get quite a bit more Swamp Thing. And he has quite a few scenes with Abby, and he talks a lot.
Derek Mears is so good. He's the MVP of this show so far.
He's incredible.
He's
not
so
only
good
does the costume looks great, the effects look great. When he uses his powers, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you see this thing that you're like, oh, it's gonna start talking, and once it starts talking, you're like, no, that's fine. It's good. Yeah, it works completely. Not a problem.
And then how he communicates with the plants, and how he's trying to figure out his powers and who he is. It works really well. Every time he uses his powers, little branches come out. It looks great each time.
Yeah, the effects look great. It looks great. I mean, after we already learned that the show's been canceled, we're all really bummed about it. But I mean, watching this episode made me feel a lot better about the cancellation because it's just how good the effects were, how good Swamp Thing was, how good the story was for a contained story. Made the characters interesting. Specifically, Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have a scene where he pulls the entire boat. That's practical.
Yeah,
that. I mean, AT&T's looking and they're like, damn, that's a lot of money.
That's cash flow we're throwing out there. People love it, but we don't like spending the money.
There was no need for it at all, but it looked so cool.
God, it looked good though. It looked real good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, at least they got us. They got two people here to enjoy it, so I'll give them that. So this little monster starts out in So they find it in the beginning of the episode, these two guys. It's always two dudes in a swamp just doing something, and they get screwed around. Two random dudes
again.
in the swamp. This guy's cutting down a tree for some reason, I guess. That's fine. And then the body comes down. It's like a rotting old body. And the story was actually really interesting that they got to around that thing. Because it sets up that there's been this swamp has been mysterious for decades, even maybe centuries. about how this little bug has been around since I think the 50s was when they the news report was from.
I believe so, something like that.
Right, so it gets into this dishwasher guy who works at Liz's and her dad's bar, which we've seen in the other 3 episodes. And he goes in there and begins seeing his fear, and then he ends up killing himself, and it's like, whoa. It's like, oh, this is something. And then he scratches Liz's dad, and he gets it, and you go to see his fear, and it's something really interesting, and it jumps off. And
yeah, and each time it's actually very interesting. I liked it, except for the snake one. That was just for.
Yeah, but that was just the entry level, and we were like, what's the hell's wrong with this guy? And then they actually get into the nitty gritty, and it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, but you didn't get to the sheriff, and I did like that. That's pretty cool. Then of course that ended up with Abby by the end, and I liked how that turned out, and then you kind of see her fear, which I didn't see coming. I still don't understand what it means at all, but she gets to interact with Swamp Thing. They get a little hug. I mean, we ship them. What's your ship name?
It's for Swamp Thing and Abby.
Swabby.
Swampy. Fabby, Swampy. I think Swampy's not bad.
Swampy's not that bad.
I mean, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, but so yeah, we get to see Abby's fear, but it's really interesting. Whereas Swamp Thing is really in tune, and he's learned these things about the swamp, and he gets to tell the story about how they end up knowing how this guy went off to kill himself, because he knew he had the creature and it was going to destroy the town. I'm like, that's really interesting. I really like that concept.
Yeah, and that's just a small part of it. And they didn't have to explain that at all. But
they didn't. But I thought it was a very good little nugget that they added to make it a bigger to make the swamp more interesting in terms of this is something even bigger at play than just what's happening with this accelerant. This swamp is there's mysticism in this swamp, and it's been here for a long time.
Yeah, and part of that mysticism is I forgot her name. I'm so bad at saying her name. It's Madame
Xanadu.
Xanadu. We got a little bit of her, and we know that she kind of deals with the cards and mysticism. She deals with once again, I'm forgetting his name.
Blue Devil.
Blue Devil.
Daniel Cassidy.
Great. He's actually really good in this episode. He's great. I like how they're setting up his story.
last week they were setting up how the fact that he's found his purpose, it's something to do with Abby, which everyone in the show has something to do with Abby.
Yeah.
But so he's following her around trying to see what his purpose is, and he asks Xanadu later on, and she's like, something's coming, Daniel, something evil's coming, you need to be here. And it's they specifically allude to him making a deal with we know who is the Blue Devil, and so we see Daniel jump into action to save Abby later on in the episode when Sheriff Cable's going off the rocker. But
I feel like his story is gonna be slowly low key the hero story of the season, and by the end he's gonna be the hero, but not really the main one.
But what's gonna suck is that it's gonna probably only be in the last 1 or 2 episodes. We're not gonna get any more of it.
Yeah, we're not gonna get another season because you know what? It was too good, honestly.
Womp womp. It's too good. The world can't handle how good this show is.
And one of the reasons why the episode was so good, and we look at the director, I was just looking at it right before we started recording, is Carol Banker. I googled her and I was like, okay, kind of sounding kind of familiar. Okay, I'm lying. I had no clue, but I come to find out she directed an episode of Titans, one of my favorite ones. I think it was your favorite one, Jackson.
My favorite one by far.
Jason Todd.
The Jason Todd episode.
Oh my god, it's so good. And she also did Doom Patrol. She did Gotham. She did a few episodes of that. All good episodes.
She's deep in this DC TV, and she really put a nice horror spin on this episode.
Yeah,
which sure. We got with Leen Wiseman in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, Leen Wiseman. And the third one kind of didn't feel that.
It fell off a little bit for me. That guy was specifically, I think I said he'd done a couple episodes of Lost and Hemlock Grove and stuff like that. Yeah. It just didn't feel the same to me last week. It was really jumbled and all over the place. But this week they got back to what made the first 2 so good, and man, it just got right back to form.
Yeah, for sure. And then, as we said, in the directing, and it's up to par with the first 2 episodes. I mean, I will just say this show looks great. It's just in terms of cinematography. It's very, it's bleak, it's swamp, but it looks great. I don't know why. It just, really did nail it, we'll say.
I mean, this episode shows how well they nailed Swamp Thing, because just how good he was in this episode, and how much they even had a light at the end. They had a daylight shot of him.
It looks great.
When he was talking to Abby, looked great. Looks so
Every
good.
shot looks great. I like something that they added to this episode. I feel like more than the rest is how he's so heavy, and when he walks, I felt like was way. This in terms of the physics of it, I felt like it was best done.
They showed a lot of mobility in this episode, like him walking through the swamps and dealing with the monster that was at hand, and it just looked so good. Just one of the best things they've done on the service so far.
Honestly, for sure. Yeah, and I guess we talk a little bit more about Swamp Thing, and he talks a lot, and although it's not the actor that plays the regular Alec,
Derek Mears.
But it's completely seamless, and he's great.
Yeah, the one little bit. I'm liking how they're using him for exposition, just because and Abby even calls him out this one time. It's like, how do you know all this? Like you just became the swamp monster. He talks about how he's like in tune with the swamp, and how he knows like this is something like this is my purpose now. This is what I'm supposed to do. But he's still also confused about who he is and like what he's become. So he's asking Abby to help him find out. He gives her a tissue sample. That's where our friend Jason Woodrue comes in and wants being a little sneaky.
Yeah, I like the little Jason Woodrue a little bit in this episode. He's only in one scene, but I do like his character and I like the actor, so for sure.
Yeah, we don't get any more of that dementia talk that we got last week randomly, but I mean that's okay. Nothing picked up there, but this was just a solid episode of TV. I mean, there's not a lot of other than the Avery stuff, which I'm going to complain about every week.
Wait, but we're missing one part of Avery stuff. Okay, there's a line at the end that's incredible.
Oh, geez. Okay, let's set this up. So at one point in the episode, the Sunderlands come to the hospital because everyone's feeling better. They've been treated. Swamp Thing told Abby how to treat them, or helped her figure out how to treat them. And Susie's feeling better, little girl. And randomly the Sunderlands come in, and Maria takes a liking to Susie, which I was kind of confused about because her ghost daughter's around. So I don't know why she has that empty nest feeling still.
Yeah, they gotta just drop the ghost daughter thing.
There was no ghost daughter in this episode. That's okay, I guess. It's not really something
I'm good with it because I did not like that story at all. So I'm fine.
So yeah, we're going. We move on from there, and they end up taking Susie to the Crawdaddy festival, whatever, in the town hall they used again, and randomly Avery announces that they're taking the kid in, even though her uncle was supposed to come get her. And then later in the episode, we reveal that the uncle has sold the daughter, the girl, to Avery. And there's a really weird line. Marcos didn't think it was as weird as I did.
I mean, I think about it, it is pretty weird.
It was completely out of left field and didn't make any sense. Where Avery starts talking about, the UNICEF ads on TV about, poor kids in third world countries who need money. He goes on about how they don't put those things on the radio for a reason. And then I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And he explains this whole thing about how I guess Susie's going to be the face of the swamp,
which is kind of smart.
Epidemic. Is it though? What is that about?
No, I think the point is that he's using it as I think he just wants people to donate money to him.
Maybe that's what it is. Jesus.
I think that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but where did he get all those crawdaddies, Marcos?
I don't know.
Those things are expensive. You ever bought crawfish?
I don't know, but the guy was shaming him about buying a girl. I'm like, but you're selling it. I'm selling the girl.
Yeah, but he's a drunk. We're not supposed to like him anyway. Yeah,
he's like, you made a mean comment to the guy. I'm like, damn.
He's like, don't spend all the money in a bar, even though I'm buying a child from you.
I'm like, damn. That's rough.
So I guess Susie's gonna live with the Sunderlands now. I'm not really feeling that at the moment, but
whatever.
We'll go from there.
Maria happy. I mean, this is only one season, so who cares?
I guess we don't have to care too much. Oh God, what a bummer! Every time I think about it, just so bummed out.
Yeah, it's bummed out. Maybe it's like maybe that's why the show is so good to us. It's like, it's just one season.
I guess so. I mean, geez, this is like a Firefly situation all over again. I mean, I wasn't around when that happened to Firefly, but everybody talks about it. How it's like, how can you end this show? How dare you? Maybe we'll get a Swamp Thing DC Universe movie a few years down the line.
That's fine. I just don't need a movie. People are like, "Oh, we just make a movie about him." Like, this
is interesting. This is it right here. This is the adaptation you want. This is what we've been talking about. Look. He looks so good. He sounds so good.
I swear. I hope that the actor Katsuki Sasu, and then he just uses it regularly throughout the day.
Just hire him for like Comic-Con. Hire him for parties.
Honestly, if you hire him in Comic-Con, you get all that money back that they lost on the show.
Such a bummer. It's just a good show. Such a good show. Just. Ugh. I mean, you didn't get to voice your opinion. I guess we've mostly wrapped up the episode so far. So I mean, what were your thoughts about the whole ordeal, Marcos, and a lot of the details that came out?
I will say, I mean, I like as you said, the mystery. I like it. I like the little self-contained thing that they did. It's
I'm talking about the show. The show being canceled.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
I mean, do you have anything else to say about the episode?
I mean, no, not really. The episode
I was talking about like the specifics of what happened, like the details that all came out.
Yes, the details. So it was a while back. I think even before it's canceled, we started getting little murmurs that they were asked to tear down all the sets, which is a lot of sets and very expensive. I think just before May began, this happened, and then like right before they told them like pause, don't tear it down yet. We're gonna
we might get picked up by HBO or the CW, which are polar opposites in terms of what you're gonna get out of it.
I think Epic should have picked it up. They would have like people
honestly just made it completely British.
Yeah.
Check out our Pennyworth review in a few weeks.
Next month.
We just recorded that.
Yeah, but yeah, then afterwards it was just like canceled. I'm like, well, it was like there's like no way it's canceled. It's too, they're about to like the ratings are gonna go right through the roof. Like this is about to premiere next week. The premiere is ended and boom, it's canceled. Like really?
So like our friend Thomas, had that one line that he released in his report about them wanting to turn it more into a CW formulaic show. What that's what bothered me the most out of all this. Even the biggest CW fan on the site, that still bothered me so much.
But you know what CW stands for is cheap work. That's all they want.
Wow.
They wanted to like they don't. I assume these executives don't like sit around with their family watch The Flash and Arrow. They're like, no, they see it. Okay, it's costs a lot less. I don't want shows like this.
Listen, I don't see them doing Crisis on Infinite Earths on DCU. So hop off, man.
I don't care because it's better shows.
You don't care? It's gonna be awesome.
It's not
Could
even
be incredible.
Believable. You said that it's not even believable. That's just sad.
Come on. Everyone hates on the CW, and I get it. Okay, I understand, but like it's a guilty pleasure for me. All right, I've been watching it since the beginning.
I mean, look,
all right, those are my shows.
If you enjoy it, that's fine. But then you have to realize Swamp Thing is like.
Well, I'm saying Swamp Thing is a better show. Okay. I'm not going to say it's not a better show. Listen, Flash has been bad for 3 seasons now. Arrow has been good the last few, 3 seasons. 5 was great. 6 and 7 are decent, but it's had its stretches. Supergirl I can't even watch anymore.
Yeah,
Legends of Tomorrow was so up and down. But I still have my love for the original, season 1 Arrow, season 2 Arrow, season 1 Flash. Like those were my shows, man.
But I mean, I kind of like the Flash for the first 3 seasons.
I mean, listen, this is a better show. Doom Patrol was a better show. I'm not gonna say they're not.
Yeah, it's on its own level. And
I think Titans is not as good. So
next season's gonna be great though. Next season.
Listen, they've added 100 characters, and we check out our reports on FullCircleNetwork.com.
Yeah, check out our reports. We're reporting a lot on that. I think we should be the official blog for DC Universe, because if the service actually goes down and it all gets canceled, our site is doomed.
The show's going down and our site's being canceled is what's gonna happen when this service goes down.
When you hear Titans, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Young Justice, it's all canceled. You're gonna hear Full Circle Cinema is done.
Look for our Pennyworth reports coming daily.
Coming daily. That's what he's cast.
They're adding British. No, what's the word?
We're adding the Joker.
Now it just failed. They're adding a British extra. They're adding British extra number 5 to the show this week. That's what we're going to be reporting on.
Could he be the Joker?
Question mark? Clickbait.
But yeah, back to Swamp Thing. It was very good this week.
It was great. It was a great episode. It was very return to form after the bummer that was last week.
Yes, very much.
Obviously, they opened 100 different storylines. Half of them they didn't even address in this episode.
Yeah, that was great.
Most of them they didn't even touch on. Which I'm like, all right, cool.
I feel like they put a few episodes together in the last one, and then
there was just so much random stuff in that last episode. I didn't even understand. I'll not get over that dimension line. It's gonna haunt me. Wait, what's going on? I'm confused. What's happening here?
It's so good though.
Oh god, I love the show. I'm digging the show so much.
Very much so. Everyone watch it, please.
I mean, it's not really gonna matter, but please watch it because it is a good show. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just solid television. But in a world of very good television right now, it's one of the best things on.
For sure, it's especially superhero stuff.
Of superhero stuff, I think it's the best running right now. It's the best show on. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on right now. Is Cloak and Dagger on? Is that still on? I don't. Has Runaways new season come out? I don't even know.
But then that's not DC Universe level though.
Okay. No, but I mean, just wait until Disney Plus comes out, and then we bury DC Universe.
Just talk about Mandalorian.
Talk about the Mandalorian every week.
But you know what's the most important show? Full Circle Network. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like have a conversation, man. If you guys leave some comments, I'll respond to them. We'll do some talking.
Yes, for sure. Someone left that very, very good comment about their opinion on one of the Swamp Things episode, and it was very good. I liked it.
We love interacting. Follow us on Twitter. Add us on Twitter. We tell you our Twitters.
Yes.
We never get any followers, but that's it's not a big deal. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not bitter about it or anything.
Yeah, sure.
We've only been doing shows on multiple channels for a year.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And if you see the views are kind of low, just reload it a few times. Have your family watch it.
Yeah. Even if they haven't seen Swamp Thing, just listen to our voices.
If you're not interested in the show, if you want to know what happens though, just watch this video.
Also, I do want to give one shout out to the guy who said I sound like George Lucas.
He's absolutely right, and it was hilarious.
I've never heard that before. I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult,
Never heard that before? You sure? Because as soon as we read it, we knew it was about you.
Yeah, well, there were 2 people on the podcast. It's process of elimination, man. Like, come on.
What do you think of The Force Awakens?
Oh, it's like poetry, all right, it rhymes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Okay, fine.
I
was just getting going, all right?
This is not a Swamp Thing review. This is a review on, like, what superheroes mean.
Honestly, this is deep talk here, right? Because Swamp Thing's fantastic. That's what it is.
There's no need to talk about it. It's just good. Just watch it, please. Please.
Maybe if everyone in the world watches it, maybe if it gets 7 billion views this week, they'll renew it. Maybe.
Bro, I wonder what their numbers are. It's got to be low.
I mean, Netflix won't release their numbers.
Look, if this was on Netflix, this is like the number one show.
If this was on HBO or this was on Epix, what's sad is Pennyworth is probably going to do 10 times as well as this show did. Not to say Pennyworth's a bad show, but this is incredible. This is incredible TV, Marcos.
That's true. It's very sad.
All right, where can the people find you before we get rambling? We're just going to start crying.
I'm at BusyGamer9, please follow me. You can at me, ask us questions. You need to follow Jackson at JacksonHayes67.
Well, all right, you can plug in myself.
Yep.
That's fine.
I just wanted to do that. See if
All right,
if I did get it right.
Okay, you can follow the site at Full Circle Cine, and you can follow us at FullCircleCinema.com. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, turn on the notifications if you feel like it. We'd be appreciative. So yeah, we'll be back next week with episode 5. Guys, have a good week.
Then eventually 10, and that's it.
No, don't make me sad.